Well, hello everyone. Welcome to gratitude yoga class. I'm going to read gratitude. I'm glad that you're joining me today or tonight or whenever you choose to do that. Gratitude. To be thankful widens the expression of your heart and increases your ability to nourish the good in and around you. So today, while we're going through our heart openers, this class is focused on heart openers, relaxation for the heart, building strength, stress release, flexibility, and it's a good class for those that work at a desk, dentist, beauticians, anyone who has their hands up like this a lot. Maybe if you just sit on the couch a lot, or if you drive around town a lot, or if you drive trucks for a living or something of that sort. So it's going to be a lot of release through this upper back, and I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed practicing it and putting it together for my YouTube video channel. So let's go ahead. While we're going through our poses, I want you to think about gratitude, whether it's for the gratitude that you have towards your family and friends, or where you live, or even just gratitude that you chose to come and do a yoga session today, gratitude to yourself. So just bring all of that focus into your heart and see what opens up. We're going to start in a Tadasana pose for our few warm-ups. Oh, I hope you have a strap, blocks, and a blanket handy. You don't have to have them, but it will help some of the poses if maybe you're a beginner especially. So standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart. Find your hip bone. Point your fingers down, and that's where your feet should be. Your hips are not out here. They're right here on the hip bone. So just stand up nice and tall. I'm going to turn this overhead light off. I think it's better this way. It kind of blinds me too. So anyway, here we go. We're going to bend our knees and inhale our arms up. Can't see my hands, but they're just up in a prayer position. And then exhale down. Again, repeat. I'll try to make a little adjustment. I apologize for having to do all of this, but I don't have a camera person that can make these adjustments for me. So I have to do it. Here we go. I think that's better. I'm a little smaller, but that's all right. Inhale up. Yeah, you can see my hands better. Good. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then let's bring our hands into a prayer position. My elbows are out straight. And put a little pressure on your hands. And we're going to inhale and exhale. And you might want to try a little ujjayi breathing. And that is breathing so that there is, you hear that sound in the back of your throat. And as you exhale, you still can hear the sound. It's all done through the nose. You don't have to do that if you don't want. You can just breathe normally. We're going to inhale. Just twisting the elbows back. Keep the hips forward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I don't know if you can hear my breathing. It's a little louder than if I'm just breathing normally, but you can feel in the back of your throat. It's like you're trying to breathe your breath down the back of your throat and then exhale through the back of your throat through your nose. We'll do just a couple more of those as we do some other of these poses. This time we're going to inhale and pressing our palms together, bringing our elbows in towards our chest and then out. We'll do 3 of these. Begin, inhale. And then bring back to rest. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the next pose, how I'm going to do it. I'm going to press my fingertips together like this. I'll come over here. And then we're going to inhale up and into a slight back bend. And then exhale down. And we'll just do normal breathing on the next few exercises. Just wanted you to practice a little bit of that other breathing, get the feel of it. Here we go. Inhale up. Slight back bend, pause, and inhale. Just breathe naturally. No worries, no stress. And then inhale and exhale down. Inhale up. Pause. Exhale down. And my fingertips are pressed together through the whole process. Inhale up. Exhale down. So we've done our twist, our ins and out. Okay. Our next pose is going to be, let me check my record. Oh, yes. Wide arm standing back bend. Couldn't think. So wide arm standing back bend. I'll turn this way. This is the wide arm. It's like goalpost arms, or we use it a lot in goddess pose. So I'm going to go back so you can see. And we're going to just inhale and exhale and do wide arm standing back bend. It's like we're doing a back bend. It's a little bit more of a back bend than what we did earlier. And then inhale forward. We'll do that 3 times and we'll hold the pose when we get to the back bend part for about 10 seconds. Inhale. Exhale into standing back bend, wide armed back bend pose. Just hold it, breathe normally, don't hold your breath. Pull in your lower abs, press your toes into the mat to build that leg strength, and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Just bending back, your arms are kept wide, side by side. Press your toes into the mat, pull in your Uddiyana Bandha, your lower abs, and release. Now, let's do a few shoulder rolls forward. That should have felt really nice. It's just a nice slow back bend. And let's do one inhale up. Now I'm going to turn facing the short end of the mat. And we're going to go into a warrior 1. So we're going to take our right leg and step back. Bend the left knee over the right ankle. The right foot is angled at about a 45-degree angle. And your hips are facing as forward as possible. And in warrior 1, you usually bring the hands up here, but we're going to go ahead and extend the right arm back. And we're going to do a warrior 1 holding the elbow for a nice, a little bit more of a heart opener than just standing in warrior 1. And we'll just hold it here and breathe regular. Press your toes into the mat, building strength up the legs all the way up till it reaches your glutes. Pull in your abs. Now you're standing like a very strong warrior, and exhale down. We'll repeat that one more time. Bring the right foot up, shake your legs out. We're going to go to the left side, and then we will repeat each side one more time. I like to kind of alternate sides. Step your left leg back. Situate your foot so that it is angled out. Bend your right knee over the right ankle. Do not go over the toes. That's very bad for your knees. Inhale the left arm up, bending the elbow and pushing the arm back. You should feel a real big chest opener here. That's also heart opener. I'm just going to hold it for a few seconds. Don't forget to press your toes into the mat, which then should tighten your calves, your thighs, your hamstrings, and then your abdominal lower muscles really tighten. And exhale, bringing the left foot up to meet the right. Back to the right side of warrior one. Inhale and exhale the right foot back. This time I'm going to go back a little bit further just to get a nice stretch through my groin area. I'm going to bend in the hip flexors. So I'm going to do a little bit of hip work here. Bending the left knee over the right ankle. Inhaling the right arm up, holding to the elbow and pressing that back and just holding it for about 10 seconds. Building the strength in our leg by pressing our toes into the mat, tightening our legs and our abs. I definitely feel a lot stronger when I do that than just coming into the pose and standing there. On your next exhale, release the arms, bring the right leg up to meet the left. And you can stay on that side, but I have to turn so you can see the left side working. Inhale and exhale the left leg back. Again, I'm going to do a nice long opening for my hips, my groin. Inhale the left arm up, right hand on the elbow, and really stretching the back through the groin area, my hip flexors. Just breathe normally. Really tightening your legs. We're strengthening and stretching. We're stretching the heart openers, the groin area, and we're strengthening the legs and the abs. And on your next exhale, release the arms. Bring the left leg up to meet the right and shake your legs out. And I'll see what we're doing. Okay, we're going to do a forward fold into down dog. We're going to do a plank, an up dog, and a sphinx. So here we go. I'm going to go back towards the back of my mat. I'm facing the end. I'm going to inhale up, bending my knees, and exhale over into forward fold. If you need to have a block for forward fold, you can bring the floor up to a little bit further, whichever level you need. Or if you are pretty flexible, you can just bend over with your hands on the mat. So take whichever is more comfortable for you. Be sure that your hips are over your ankles and not pushed back, that's defeating the purpose of the hamstring stretch here. And I just have my head resting comfortably between my arms. My knees are slightly bent. You can bend them more if you need to, depending on your hamstring tightness. Just letting that hamstring stretch out. Press your toes into the mat. Gather your strength in your legs. Bend your knees generously and walk your hands forward into down dog. Once in down dog, let's walk the dog out. Really take our time here. We're doing a little bit of an inversion. If you feel dizzy, just come down into tabletop and just sit with your head up above your heart for a few seconds. And then you can come back into a down dog. If you have stayed in down dog, that's excellent. But if you have a headache, this might be a pose to avoid also. It's not good if you have a headache to put your head below your heart. If you have high blood pressure, be very cautious or do not do this pose at all. And then while we're here, let's really, I'm going to really push forward, which then dips my head closer to my legs and makes my tailbone go up more towards the ceiling. And then I'm just going to take a little twist. As I raise up the right leg, I twist my hips to the left, twist my hips to the right, and raise up the right heel, the left heel. Inhale and exhale down into tabletop. Going down on your elbows, stretching your legs out. We can do a just notice my phone is in a bad position there. Sorry, I was hitting my clogged second hand, which I don't want to break that off. So we're going to go into a Sphinx pose here. We're just hanging out in Sphinx pose so that your back is slightly bent. We're not going up into a cobra. This is also a good heart opener. And then if you feel it in your body, straighten your toes flat on the mat, and we can push up into a down dog. That's with I'm bringing the pelvis up. I'm not doing a cobra. The butt is coming up off the ground. And if you can put all your weight on the top of your feet and come up into a high forgot the name of the pose. Into a high down facing down dog. It's not a downward facing down dog. It's a up facing down dog. And lower down. That's why my tongue got twisted there. Sorry. It's upward dog, or that we were doing. Upward dog. Upward facing dog. There we go. And then back into Sphinx. And again, if upward facing dog is in your body, you can go into upward facing dog one more time or remain in Sphinx. Or if this is starting to bother your shoulders or your arms, you can come down into a crocodile pose. So those are your choices. I've got my feet laid flat out. I'm going to push up into upward facing dog. It's such a tongue twister. And then I'm going to go into a high upward facing dog, which is just pushing the weight on my feet. And then I'm going to exhale down into my crocodile pose to join anyone who chose not to do upward facing dog again. We're going to hang out here for a few seconds. So just breathe normally. And then change the hand that is on the bottom to the top. Your forehead should be laying on top of your hands that are crossed over each other. Your hands are like this, and your forehead is down here. I should have maybe showed that earlier. It's really hard when you can't see what people are doing, if they're doing it correctly, and then to try to remember to show exactly how the pose should look before I get you into it. On your next inhale, bring your elbows back and your hands even with your breastbone. Curl your toes under. And we're going to push up into plank. We're going to hold this for a few seconds. Plank is so good. It's a full body workout. It's not necessarily a heart opener, but it's also good because we're also building strength. I did list that as one of the things in this class. And then bend your knees down and come up on your knees. And if you have knee issues, feel free to get a blanket, or you can do this pose standing up. So you choose which way you want to do it. We're going to do a half crescent pose. So we're going to inhale our arms up, grab your right hand, grabs your left wrist and just pulls it over. Half crescent, standing half crescent pose. Should feel really nice. We like to do a crescent pose or banana asana after any kind of back bend work. Exhale your arms down. Do a shoulder roll here. Oh, it feels good. Inhale the arms up. Take your left hand, grabbing your right wrist. Inhale and exhale to the left. You see that I'm keeping my hips straight. In other words, I'm not pushing my hips out. I'm just bending from the waist over into another half crescent pose. And we're just staying here for a few seconds. I like to hold the poses for a few seconds because then it really lets your body get into the full exposure of the muscle stretching or strengthening. And then exhale and coming up and arms down. If you move through the poses fast, there is a lot of benefit from that. But if you move through the poses slower, there is a lot of benefit from that. So I like to move slower. As I've gotten older, slower seems to be better for me and better for my muscles. When you're younger, your muscles, I think, warm up and they're more stretchable. As you age or have injuries to your body, moving through the poses slow and holding can be more beneficial than just going through them quickly. So I think we did each side twice. So let's go to our next pose, which is child's pose. And again, if you need your blanket for your knees, it does feel really nice on your knees. So you can keep it there. I'm going to move mine because I prefer doing child's pose without the blanket. And then after child's pose, we will do thread the needle. So I'm going to go ahead and show you thread the needle so that you know what it looks like when we get to it. Just watch for a moment. You will be inhaling and exhaling the left arm through as you lay your head down on the mat and stretching your right arm forward if you want to stretch out the whole inner arm up into the armpit. So those are the two poses, child's pose. You can have your feet, your knees hip width apart. We're going to sit back and stretch our arms out to the front. Child's pose is a really good one for stress relief. And if you have trouble getting your forehead down to the mat, you can use your blanket or a block. Especially if you have maybe some back issues where you cannot press down that far. This is a good way to bring the floor up to you so that you can still experience this nice stretch through the armpits. And then exhale into tabletop. And we'll spend a moment or two here in tabletop. Just kind of, let's do a nice C curve, which is also a good counterbalance for the back bends that we did. We did a couple of different back bends. And exhale to the other side. Inhale and exhale to the right. And we're looking over our right shoulder and bringing the hip as far to the right as possible. Inhale and exhale to the left, head to the left, hips to the left. Return to center. Take your hands and move them up about a hand and a half width up. And let's take the right hip and bring it to the right side, rolling it around to the left. Coming up, just really stretching out, bringing the right hip to the right, rolling around to the left, moving forward, and I'm stretching my whole body over my hands. This builds some strength in the arms. If it hurts your wrist, press your fingertips into the mat to take some pressure off of the wrist. And then when you get up to the top this time, we're going to reverse that. Hips to the left, rolling to the right. Come all the way up, over your hands, pressing back to the left. Roll to the right. Come all the way up, over your hands, pressing to the left. Rolling your hips to the right, all the way up, and then come back into child's pose again. Inhale up, And this is where we're going to do our thread the needle. So we're going to inhale. And again, if you cannot get all the way through, use your blanket or a block to rest your head on, wherever you need the floor to be for your head to feel comfortable. So I've got my knees over my hips over my knees. I'm going to move my hand up, about hands width up, inhale, and exhale the left arm underneath the right arm, bending the elbow so that the head can go down onto your blanket, block, or mat, and then reaching the right hand as far forward as possible, keeping the hips up in the air. Excellent pose for stretching the shoulders. If you have shoulder issues, be cautious and maybe don't go all the way through. It's also another good one for the spine. And it's a calming pose. It should feel really nice. Just hang out here for about 2 or 3 more seconds. It's also good for your digestion. Inhale and exhale as you start to bring both hands up. We can shake them out, roll our shoulders, fly like a bird. Feels really good. And then back into tabletop, just so you can get your bearings on where you want to bring the left hand up, one hand width up. Inhale. And exhale the right arm underneath the left. Head down to the mat, blanket or block, stretching the left hand out as far as possible. You can even take your fingertips and grip the mat, which then really tightens the whole arm. So we're doing a lot of strengthening here in this arm. And we'll just hold this pose for a few seconds. I'm going to move this to see my clock. And I always try to put the clocks where I can see them and where I think I'm going to be in most of my poses, but then I always have a prop or something that I tend to get in front of it. So we're going to inhale and exhale, slowly coming up. And again, you can sit back or you can stay on your knees and roll your shoulders back. I'm doing the whole arms back. Roll the shoulders back. And we're going to do you can stay on your knees if it's comfortable. If you have knee issues, you can sit in easy pose for the next couple of poses. Or you can stand up. I think I will stand up. So I'm just going to come up to standing. Whew, it feels good. We're going to take our hands, bring them back behind us. This is a pose that probably one of my first yoga poses I started doing when I worked in an office. And you get really tight through the shoulders and your neck because you're sitting at a desk doing your work. So I would stand up. I try to do it every hour. And then you try to clasp your hands behind your back if you can. If you can't, you can use a strap to hold them at whatever point is comfortable. And you can just stay here. If you chose to sit, this is just where you want to stay. If you're on your knees or standing, we can do the next step, which is called bound behind the back forward fold. So I'm just going to bring my clasped hands up as high as I can. Inhale and lean forward to wherever it feels comfortable. This bring so much relief through that upper back and from sitting. And it's one of your better heart openers. We'll just hold this for a few seconds. If you feel too much blood is going to your head, just stand back up or raise your torso back up if you're sitting. Really tighten your legs and move up and release your arms. And let's do a few backward rotations with that. And then we will do one more pose, either standing, sitting, or on your knees. I'm going to come back down on my knees. I'm going to let my back face you. And we're going to take our right arm and reach it up over our shoulder. If you have your strap, I'll show you with the strap first. So you're holding the strap, and then you bring your left hand, palm facing backwards, and you bring it up to wherever you can hold the strap. And you try to pull your right arm just a little bit downwards. Or if you're flexible enough, you can grasp your fingertips together, which then puts a little pressure on your top arm and your bottom arm. And it is another great chest opener. You can see how that really opens the chest or the heart center. And then exhale, releasing both arms. Whew. Let's do a few airplane circles. And then reverse, doing little circles. And then let's do some big circles. And then reverse. Really holding in your stomach, your lower abs, especially the Uddiyana Bandha. Hold that muscle in nice and tight. Now we're going to do the left arm. The left arm is going to go back over. I'm going to turn around. I'm on my blanket since I'm down here for a while. And then the right arm is going to come up. You can see this side is not quite as flexible. You'll find that is true on everybody. Or use your strap to hold your hands together as close as possible. Yours may be way down here, and if that is your stretch, then that's what you need to be doing. This is your practice, not mine. I'm doing my practice, and you do your practice to your body's best ability. Nice big heart opener, this one is. And release. And this time we will do, put your arms in scarecrow pose and just flap them up and down. Just getting some of the tension out that we just did. And then bring that to stillness. And let's do a few neck rolls. So I'm going to bring my chin to my neck. And you can do this standing, sitting, or on your knees. I'm already on my knees, so I'm going to stay here. And just look down. Don't try to press your chin into your chest. It's just a very, move this out of the way. I keep having to turn around. I'm just looking, gazing down, but I'm not trying to really press because I don't want to put that much pressure on the back of my neck. And then we're just going to bring the chin, swing it to the right, to the center, to the left. Be very gentle with your neck and any movement that you do. You can overextend those first 7 cervicals, and then you're in trouble. So it's a very gentle stretching that I'm doing here for the neck. You definitely want to take care of your neck so that it does not get any injury. Pull in your uddiyana bandhas, your low abs. I just saw that I wasn't doing that. Bring that to stillness and look up. And then we're just going to take our nose and try to go over our right shoulder through the center and to the left. And we're going to do about 5 of these, like we did the neck roll or the neck swing maybe. Just releasing any tension that we built up from some of those poses with the arms, because it does put some tension up to the upper back. Just releasing that now. Oh, yeah. And then I'm actually going to sit on my blanket. Then we're going to do a little bit of massage on our neck. So take your fingertips. Actually, I'm going to come up here so you can see what I'm doing better. I need to have a full floor mat, I guess, but I have carpet so I can do this. We're going to take our fingertips and just start gently massaging our neck area. Should feel really nice. I've got some tightness through here, so I'm going to spend a little time right there. Wherever you find tightness, just spend some time there. And I like to kind of go up into the hairline and then just push down, just like you're giving yourself a massage. Get into these tight shoulders. Maybe a little neck roll side to side. I have a lot of crunchies in there. Feels really good. Very good, yes. And then we're going to take our fingertips and we're going to do a little tapping around the head. So let's start with the right hand on the left side of the body and start right here where this bone is. Mine's right there. I'm going to go a little bit below it because if you go there, you'll choke yourself. And I'm just going to tap along that bone that goes up. I'm just going up and down the bone. And then I'll go back around the neck, up around the ear, around the jawline, and back up into the jawline, and up around the head. And I'm staying on the left side of the head. Now I'm going down the middle of my head, down to the neck, all the way over. Try to tap all areas of the left side of your scalp. Just working back and forth, midline to the outside. Now I'm going to come down to the forehead, down the nose. My nose is cold. And back up around the eyebrow, the ear, and back down around this collarbone. Now we're going to go with the left side. And I'm going to come back here and sit on my blanket because my knees are starting to like go, ow, that's too much on the knees. So we're going to start with my left hand and begin tapping around this collarbone here, up around the ear, around the jawbone, down to the chin, up to the lips, back around the jawbone. And I got to twist my hand around. So I'm going to come down around the base of the skull, up the midline like we did, and back. And then start going from the midline to the outside of the skull, back to the ear, to the face, up by the forehead, and then I'm going to go back down. When I get to the middle, I'm going down to the center on the nose and around the right eyebrow, down, following the bone back to the center of the chest. That felt really nice. Okay. Just take a moment to bring your eyes closed and ponder on how nice that felt on your head. My head feels nice and clear. If you have sinus problems, this is a great one to do, especially if you feel congested. Just keep going around the eyebrows and around the eye socket and the nose area. Should open all of that up. And just think about the gratitude that you feel on how that your body is starting to feel now, as opposed to how it felt when you first started. I actually feel much more awake. Didn't really know that I didn't feel awake, but it just feels like my whole head's open, my chest is open, my legs have strengthened. I feel a calmness. I always feel a little frantic before I start streaming, and then I get nervous and forget things. That's why I make my list. Now, you can open your eyes up. We've had a little moment of expression on the heart, the gratitude, and that's your affirmation word of the day. If you don't like that word, you can pick your own word. I just picked it because I draw it out of a little thing that I have. And then I name my class that, and then I try to think about that word all week. And it's kind of nice to have an affirmation word for the week. Some people do a word every day. I like one for the week. But let's go ahead and lay back on our back. Have a block and a blanket ready. We're going to do a few more heart opener poses on our back. And have your strap handy. Hope you get to everything. So we're going to go into our restorative rest pose, which is flat on your back. Hands are at about a 45-degree angle, palms up, and feet are hip width apart and not too far down. And we're going to do a few, I call it my knee routine because it's so good for everything, for the hips, for the digestion, for calming the body. We're just acclimating to the floor right now. On our next inhale, we're going to raise the right foot up and grab behind your knee, behind your thigh. We're going to do an inhale. And as you exhale, try to bring the knee towards the head as far as you can. Inhale away. Exhale towards your head. Inhale away. Exhale towards your head. Inhale the right foot down. Inhale the left foot up. Inhale. Exhale left knee to the head. Inhale away. Inhale knee to the head. Exhale away. I got it mixed up. Sorry. Inhale. Exhale knee to head. Inhale away. Bring both feet up together. Grab your shins. We're going to do wind release pose. This is one way you can do it, and some people call it pig pose. This is such a good pose for a lot of things. And if you feel the kid in you, you can raise your feet up over your head. I'm not going to do that. I can do it, but it kind of affects my low back sometimes, and today's not a good day to do that. So I'm just going to do it like this. So pig pose if you're a kid in your heart. Uh, and if you're an adult, you can call it wind pose. Or you can use your um, strap to hold your knees if you want. That's more comfortable. Maybe your knees look like this, and that's fine. So we're just going to start by rolling side to side. I kind of like the strap. It gives it keeps my shoulders on the mat, which I want your shoulders on the mat for wind pose or pig pose. And it's called pig pose because they name a lot of poses after animals, especially if you're doing a children's class, and kids love acting like animals. And someone thought that this looked like a pose where pigs wallow in the mud and dirt. So there you go. That's the history behind the name of this pose. But it's actually a super pose for digestion, your low back. It's a good, nice back massage. And if you have had beans or other gaseous foods, it helps to relieve the bloat. It helps with abdominal cramping. If maybe you have some menstrual cramping issues. So there's just so many good benefits for our wind pose or pig pose. And then you can bring that to stillness. And keep your feet up. And I'm going to make a bigger loop on my strap. No, it's crooked. What happened? Okay. And I'm going to place this around my feet. Oh, I got it really crooked now. Let's turn it. I hate to have the crook in it because then when I try to adjust it later, sometimes it gets cantankerous. So I've got a pretty wide loop that gives you time to adjust yours too. I might make it even a little wider. I love doing baby pose this way. And then you're going to take your hands and just grab both ends of the loop and bring your knees in towards the mat. So try to have this part straight up so that your feet are pointing towards the ceiling. If you cannot bend your knees down as far as I just did, your pose may look more like this, as long as this part of your leg is straight, not down like this. Well, I guess if you have to, you could do it that way, but don't really hold it out. But try to get into your best baby pose. And your shoulders should stay on the mat wherever your feet are. And I have my elbows coming down towards the mat also. And then we're going to lift up the left foot, straighten the right, straighten the left, bend the right, straighten the right, and bend the left. You know how babies do that, and they play with their feet and kick them around? Well, that's kind of what we're doing. This is a great hip opener also, and a good stretch for the leg, one at a time, so it's not so stressful. And since it's at an angle, it's not as intense on your hamstring. So very good pose for lengthening of that hamstring. And then I'll bring it back. And let's roll all the way over to the right and roll all the way over to the left and do some more rolls this way. Feels so nice on that low back. Let me check my time. Oh, we're getting close. And then bring that to stillness. And I'm going to release one leg. I'm laying on my strap. And since I have a big loop, I'm just going to pull my hand up here, bend the right knee. I got to move my stuff out of the way to do this next pose. I'm going to hold it with my left hand and let my right leg come out as far over to the right as possible, keeping the hips on the mat. In other words, don't roll over all the way and bring your hips up. We're just stretching that inner groin. And I've got my left leg is flopping over to the left side. And then I'm going to bring this up and actually let the right leg go all the way over as my hip does come up off this time. I've got my right arm out straight and I'm looking to the left, to the right. This is a nice, gentle twist, supine twist. Inhale the right leg up, bend it, place the left leg in, hold with your right hand, and you can see my right knee is up. I'm going to hold with my left hand. I'm going to let my left leg fall to the left, right leg falls to the right. I have my right hand down and I'm looking to the right. You should feel a nice opening up in that hip joint and a nice long groin stretch. Inhale both legs up, grab with my right hand, let my left hand come out into a T, bend my knee slightly, and let that whole body roll over to the right. As I look to the left, try to keep your left shoulder on the mat as much as possible. It will come up a little bit, which is fine, and your foot may or may not come all the way down to the floor. It may be up here or down here, just whatever your stretch is. This feels so, my whole back just made an adjustment. It was true bliss. I'm very grateful that I did this pose today. Inhale both feet up, or your left foot up, place it down on the mat, stretch it out nice and long. I know I had another thing in here I didn't want to forget. So just do a nice long full body stretch while I check if there's a pose I wanted to do and did not. No, I got them all in. That was the end of it. Okay. So get ready for your Shavasana. And you can place your blocks. Oh, and I'm right on time too. Boy, that is really good. I hardly ever am just right on time where I wanted to be. So get your blocks in under your knees, or if you have a bolster, I didn't put that on my list. I forgot it. And when you get all situated, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, and I'm going to actually grab my bolster because I really like my bolster under my knees. But if you don't have a bolster or a pillow that you can use, put your blocks under your knees and bring your knees out at a little bit of an angle. I can demonstrate that real quick. Just so that what this does is it helps to take the pressure off of your low back so that your low back can lay flush on the mat or the floor. So that's very important for back health. And then if you want to cover up, go ahead and get covered up. I'm going to bring this up here so I can watch our time closely. And I'm going to take you through a heart-warming breath session. And in order to do a heart-warming breath session, because this whole class was geared around our hearts, opening our hearts, being grateful for the things that are in our hearts and other people or whatever you decided was important. And you're going to place, first let's rub our hands together like we do on our namaste, bringing warmth. And then place both hands on the chest. And I'm going to take you through a 4-count breathing session, and then just breathe on your own when I stop counting, and just bring your hands out to a restful position. I didn't express to bring the hands down in another class I did, and then when Shavasana was over, I looked at everybody and they still were holding their hands. So it's more restful to bring them down. So don't forget that part. And you're going to do all of this breathing through the nose. It's 4 counts. And it will be breathing in to the count of 4, holding for a pause, and then breathing out to the count of 4. We're not doing our other 4-count breathing, which is the Navy SEALs breath. Here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. start taking any last minute stretches that you need to do. I'll do one. Nice stretch, arms overhead, feet going the opposite direction. Maybe a little twist to the right, to the left. And then when you feel ready, roll over onto your side and lay in the fetal position for a few minutes, or not minutes, for a few seconds, maybe a breath or two. And then take your top arm and press it into the mat, pushing up slowly, head coming up last. And I'm going to come up here. Take my timer off for our namaste and my quote of the day. We have our affirmation at the beginning of the class now, and the quote of the day only at the end. I'll get my chair. I hope you enjoyed this class. I really enjoyed doing it. I have some classes I really like to do. This one felt really good, I thought, to me. I hope it felt good to you. So let's bring our hands together once again, bringing warmth, joy, love, and our affirmation word of the day, whatever you chose, or you can use my word, gratitude, pressing that into our heart center and bowing our heads. I honor the light in you and ask that you honor the light in others. Namaste. And I should have mentioned while we were in our breathing for our heart health and into Shavasana to be thinking about gratitude and what you're thankful for, what you're gracious for. But I forgot that. So think about it now. Maybe you did. So I have my quote, and it's by Marcel Proust. Let us be grateful to the people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. And then also on the opposite of that, think of those that you make happy, and hopefully those people think of you as the souls that helps them blossom. Thank you for coming to PJ Yoga with TJ, and I will see you next week. I already had the word. Oh, now I forgot what it was, and I left it in the other room. But I had to do this class first. I got kind of ahead of my time. And next class will be iron yoga. So have your weights ready, and I will see everyone next week. Have a great week, a great night, and a great day, and be a great person. Ta-ta for now.